The podcast world is a barren wasteland. Okay, not really, but there's no really great podcasts. Okay, not really. There's a lot of really great podcasts out there, but there's no really great music podcasts. Okay, not really. There's plenty of great music podcasts out there, but there's no really great music podcasts out there that are drug and alcohol free. Okay, I can't back up that last thing I said like that all. Just a completely ignorant thing to say. But there's no really great music podcast hosts out there that are insanely opinionated but crazy handsome and hilarious. Okay, that last thing I said out loud was completely true. So welcome to the obviously unpredictable world of Check the Credits. A music review podcast that is dedicated to reviewing garbage records so that you don't have to. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll get turned on. You may even crap your pants. So why not add Check the Credits to your daily pod diet? Nothing to lose and everything to gain. You may even like it. Imagine that. A podcast that is actually good and you can actually enjoy. Okay, not really, because there are plenty of podcasts out there that are super good that you can enjoy. So hop on board the CTC train where you can check the credits. Sorry, I gotta wait for it. Credits. We are your hosts, Michael Green and John Smeaton. Johnny, qu'est-ce up?
I'm good.
You got it.
I'm good.
Welcome to the final episode of Season 4. This is so special and so wonderful and so excited. We are tackling the mighty Led Zeppelin. Ooh. Their 1979 album, In Through the Outdoor. Is this the first time you're hearing this record?
This record, yes.
Yes. So, quickly, don't take up too much of our time, John. But tell me about the first time you heard Zeppelin and the effect that it had on your brainsicle.
The first song I ever heard by Zeppelin was Black Dog.
Oh, shit.
From Zeppelin 4. And the thing was that I can't, like, in high school, you heard Zeppelin a little bit. We had our lead heads, their little jean jackets with their little patches.
Yes. Did they have little rat stashes and mullets?
No, we weren't. No. I don't think we were old enough to grow those yet. But But yeah, they were there, and I had stumbled across Zeppelin 4. I don't know how. I don't know. It was in a box. It was a cassette. Okay. And I had listened to it, and I'm like damn.
Like an uncle's collection or your
dad
or something?
It was a box in the basement or something, and I found it, and I played it. Black Dog's the first song on that album, and then it just goes from there, and it's a great record to me. Yeah, that's about my experience with it. I loved it. It's probably my favorite record.
Are you a Zeppelin collector?
No.
You don't buy their stuff? Never really did?
No, I don't.
I wanted to ask you this, too, because we haven't really tackled it. I think you admitted in the very first episode, the Lennon episode, you're like 90s.
Yeah.
So what's happening in the 80s then? And what are you listening to in the 80s? Because like the great stuff that came out in the 90s hasn't happened yet. So what are you doing?
Like,
is it New Kids?
Really embarrassing stuff.
Is it?
Like, just because you got your Sony Walkman and it played tapes, but like you can put it on like the radio, right? And then you hear like whatever Madonna and like Phil Collins.
Okay,
and what I mean? Stuff like that. Yeah. Genesis.
So you were a radio kid.
Yeah.
Whatever was played on FM radio, and that was it.
And it's haunted me now that I did not get the opportunity to like get into other music because, I didn't get into really getting into music till the 90s, like you said.
Hey, man, better late than never.
Well, it's kind of a regret, but what are you going to do?
Zeppelin for me is in top 10 all time for sure. Maybe even top 5. I'm an enormous Zeppelin fan. One of my earliest memories is, do you remember like, I don't know if it was like Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, like horror movies on the TV? And they would show like like quick clip amalgamation compilations of like the howling and shit.
And it was Zeppelin in the background.
And it was that middle bridge section of Whole Lotta Love. That
and I know
it's scaring the shit out of me, dude.
And I know what channel that was on. It was on Channel 20.
Yes, Channel 20.
It was a thriller. I don't know. They had a name for it, but they play horror movies on the
it was like
great.
Saturday afternoon matinee thriller or something. And they would show these like horror clips with that Zeppelin thing. Oh, dude. And I remember it, and it scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. So I actually still, to this day, when I listen to A Whole Lotta Love, that whole section still gives me the willies. Man.
Oh, wow.
But I love Led Zeppelin so very much. Still do. And I've collected all their stuff as often as I can when money will afford, because a lot of Zeppelin stuff is not cheap. No. Like, I think Jimmy Page's book that he put out a little while back was like, I don't even want to venture a guess, but it was something I was like, okay, not buying that. Holy shnikes. Anyway, the year is
1979.
Yeah, so let's play this now.
From CTC World Headquarters in Ontario, Canada, this is the top news from whichever year the hosts are talking about this episode. And now, the news.
So, 1979, Michael Jackson releases his first solo album.
Oh. Was it called Off the Wall?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Number 2, ESPN launches.
Come on.
Yeah.
No way.
1979. Uh-huh. Pope John Paul II visits his native Poland, being the first pope to visit a communist country.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, good for you. This one is very interesting. I didn't even know about this. 11 fans are killed and dozens injured at a Who concert in Cincinnati, Ohio, at the Riverfront Coliseum due to a crowd surge outside of the arena. So apparently the story is they heard the Who doing their sound check
and lost it.
And they lost it. They thought they thought the show was starting, so they surged.
Charged.
But the thing was that the show went on.
Oh.
And the Who didn't even know what happened.
Oh, no.
And they didn't find out till the next day. I think they were playing in Chicago.
Yeah.
And they said we lost a lot of family the other night.
Oh, my
because
gosh.
they didn't even tell them that it happened, which is pretty bad. On to the next one. The first British nudist beach is established in Brighton.
Oh, right, sir.
Yeah. So, funny story about nudist beaches. If you go, I've been to the Dominican Republic a few times, and they have a topless thing going on there.
Awesome.
You can go on any beach.
Is it awesome, though?
No.
Okay.
It's
I
not
didn't
awesome.
think so. It's never what you would think.
Most of the time, it's women you'd rather not see naked. Yeah. But, and last but not least, Pink Floyd releases the multi-platinum album, The Wall.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
I prefer it over Dark Side of the Moon, actually. I don't know if I'm in the minority or not, but
so when it comes to the Billboard, we're not going to do the Billboard.
That's fine.
Because we've done it.
We forgot to mention that 1979 we did this year last season for Elton John.
So I got crazy. Oh. And we're going to do top TV series in 1979.
Okay.
So you're probably not going to get any of these but one.
All right, sir.
But I did do some honorable mentions that you'll enjoy.
Okay.
Number 5, you'll get this one. Alan Alda and Wayne Rogers.
Oh, Marsh. MASH. Marsh. What the hell am I doing? I've had 2 sips of
Marsh.
beer. It's MASH.
MASH, indeed.
Is that the only one I'm going to get?
Linda Levine.
Linda Levine?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're not going to get
Can you give me a hint?
No.
No?
I don't even know this. I don't even know the show. And
you never heard of it?
It was number 4.
Okay.
It was Alice.
Alice.
Based on the book Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore?
Nothing.
I don't know. There was a show hosted by John Davidson, Kathy Lee Crosby, and Frank Tarkenton?
Okay.
That's incredible! ! So it was like a talent show type
So
deal.
is that fun fact?
Well, actually, it kind of got like bad reviews and stuff because people viewed it as pretty sadistic.
Oh,
I guess.
All right, sir.
Anyway, moving on. You got to get this one. John Ritter, Suzanne Summers, Don Knotts.
Oh, is it MASH? Three's Company.
Is it Marsh?
Well, obviously. So that's when the show started, or that was just a top show?
It was the
79?
second top show.
So it would have been syndication
by the time I was watching, because I grew up watching Three's Company.
Oh, well, you guessed it.
Yeah, John Ritter.
Yeah.
John Ritter was the best.
Yeah, and number one. You're not gonna get it. There have been so many hosts for it,
Was it like
but it still
Family
exists
Feud or
today.
something? Family Feud?
It's
Something like that?
got minutes in it.
Oh, 60 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, it only has 42. But anyway,
Because of the commercials.
yes.
Advertising these other shows.
Honorable mentions.
Yeah.
We had Different Strokes.
Oh, no
then.
shit.
We had Dallas. We had Chips.
Oh, yeah.
The Jeffersons.
Right.
We had Taxi.
Oh, my gosh.
Tony Danza.
Danny
Angela.
DeVito. Yeah, DeVito.
We had Happy Days, and we had Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard. Oh, yeah. Dukes of Hazzard. That one I watched. The I remember that guy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's play this.
And now it's time for WTF Happened with John Smeaton, the part of the show where John Smeaton tells you WTF happened. And now, without further ado, John Smeaton.
We're going to get into some dark Hollywood. Number one, Jerry Lee Lewis, 22, marries his 13-year-old cousin, sending his career into the gutter.
How was that allowed?
Well, it wasn't his first cousin, if it's anything.
But she's 13. Isn't that a minor?
Yeah.
So how is that even legally?
I think he was 22 when it happened.
Good grief.
Yeah, not cool. On to Charlie Chaplin. He liked the young ladies also.
Oh, no!
Yeah, he married two 16-year-old girls.
That's a little better.
Mildred Harris in 1918 and Lita Gray in 1924.
There's a 16-year-old girl named Mildred.
Yeah, apparently. Then he married a 21-year-old in 1936. And then at 53 years old, and in 1943, he married an 18-year-old. Chaplin was definitely happening.
Okay, I'm with you, like Chaplin. Disgusting. What's with these girls? What's with the 18-year-old marrying a 53-year-old? She's obviously a gold digger then?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's Charlie Chaplin, right?
Oh, for ball's sake.
Yeah. Judy Garland,
Oh, yeah.
on the set of Wizard of Oz, was forced to stay thin. MGM's head of operations allowed her a diet of chicken soup and black coffee. Along with the diet, she was given 80 cigarettes per day, along with a cocktail of pills. Garland died at age 47. Gee, I wonder how.
What is happening?
Yeah.
What? I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Can you believe
man.
that?
Oh, that's so gross.
This one's last but not least. During the Twilight Zone, the movie, during a scene filmed during the Vietnam War, a helicopter hit a stunt explosive and crashed, killing actor Vic Morrow and two child actors he was working with. Co-director John Landis and 4 other people working on the film were charged with involuntary manslaughter, but were all acquitted after the 10-month trial.
Jeez.
That's crazy. I didn't even hear about that. That was actually a Spielberg-produced film also.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it either because I wasn't born yet.
Yeah.
But,
I was 3.
and crushing life.
And so concludes the what the F moments.
Yeah. Jeez, dude.
Yeah.
Dark Hollywood. It's
Yes.
not, I hope that's not somewhere we visit very often, John.
No.
Since you're actually in charge of that, maybe happy times, okay? Happy times?
Happy times.
So how you feeling, man? You feeling like going through the credits?
I sure do.
Released in August of 1979. This is the band's 8th and final studio album. It is the final album released during the lifetime of drummer John Bonham. The band would break up after Bonham's death in 1980. I don't know how much you know about what happened with him.
With John Bonham?
Yeah. So he basically had the equivalent of 40 shots of vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he die on his own vomit?
It was asphyxiation. There was something like they saying accidental death, but do you do 40 shots of vodka if you're not trying to kill yourself?
Well, they like to party.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, leading up to it, I guess he had a problem with heroin.
Oh, really?
And so he had kicked the habit, but he was on like anxiety pills, antidepressant drugs and stuff. So he was not in a good place. And 40 shots, man. I'm thinking you're not trying to like survive that.
That's a lot.
Everybody says accidental death, but it's like, man, I don't know.
It was vodka?
40 shots of vodka. Yeah. The Coda record was issued in 1982 and includes rare and unreleased tracks from the band's 10-year career. So that was after Bonham's death. And we picked this one. That Coda is actually considered their worst record, but it's not like a proper Zeppelin record because John was gone by then. So that's why we're doing this one. The album was recorded over a 3-week period in November and December of 1978 at ABBA's Polar Studios in Stockholm, Sweden.
Sweden?
Why do I feel like that studio comes up a lot?
Hey, it's weird.
So in contrast to previous Zeppelin records, In Through the Outdoor features a much greater influence on the part of bassist, keyboardist John Paul Jones and vocalist Robert Plant, and relatively less from guitarist Jimmy Page and John Bonham. This was attributed to Bonham's struggle with alcoholism and Page's battle with heroin addiction, resulting in the two often not showing up on time to the studio. So Jones later said there were two distinct camps by then, and Plant and I were in the relatively clean one. Yeah. Consequently, many of the songs were put together by Plant and Jones during the day, with Page and Bonham adding their parts at night.
Wow.
So it's a little bit already fractured, right?
Huh.
The album was supposed to be released before the band's twin concerts at Nebworth in 1979. You heard about those, like legendary shows they did. But production delays meant it was released shortly afterwards. Plant actually joked about the delays during those performances. So, the album went to number 1 on the Billboard chart in its second week of release, selling 1.7 million copies within days.
Well, that's good.
You think? Upon the album's release, the entire Led Zeppelin catalog made the Billboard 200. An unprecedented feat.
Wow.
So after the album comes out, all the rest of their records jump into the charts.
Oh, hell yeah.
It would remain on the U.S. top spot for 7 weeks and sell over 3 million copies before the end of September of 1979. So within about a month or so.
Wow.
It has sold over 6 million copies in the U.S. alone since its release. It did, however, divide critics and Zeppelin fans, critical of the synth-influenced music and accusing the band of forsaking their heavy guitar-driven sound. Chris Bone of Melody Maker said the first play of the record had everyone in the office rolling around and laughing, while accusing the band of being out of touch and displaying the first intimations of mortality.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bone.
And Neil McCormick of the Daily Telegraph ranked the album in 2014 as the band's worst. Oh. So the producer credits are... Guitarist Jimmy Page is the producer of this and all Zeppelin records.
Whoa.
Everything is from the man Jimmy Page. So how you feeling, man? You feeling strong?
Strong.
You feeling sober?
Sober.
Let's
No
go through
heroin
this.
here.
Let's go through this track by track review. This first song is called "In the Evening."
Hey there. If you want to listen to this clip, you're going to have to go download the album. If you dare. It's pretty shitty. Hence the purpose of this podcast. Anyway, back to the show.
Yeah. Written by Page, Plant, and Jones. So Page is using a Gizmotron to create that droning guitar effect in the intro. Any Zeppelin fan knows the intro I'm talking about. Pushing 7 minutes in length, this is arguably the best guitar riff on this record.
Yeah. I love this song.
A
It's
great
such
opener. Yeah, great opener. Definitely gets a point from me. Plant's lyrics are a bit difficult to decipher, kind of delivered in like a slur, but still a very cool track. You?
Yeah. I love this song. Like you said, the intro was pretty sweet. And the drums, as usual, are on par.
We're going to slobber all over John.
And
a lot.
it gets a point from me, man. It's a great opener.
Great opener,
yeah,
huh?
for
Oh,
sure.
gosh, what a song. So let's see what YouTube thought about
Yatap?
this song. Yatap.
Yatap.
Let's see what Bam Chug 4 years ago
Bam
says. This, my friends, is what a rock and roll orgasm sounds like.
It's cool, it's groovy, it's number one, the Led Zeppelin.
Arnaldo Fiera 1 year ago says, when Led Zeppelin launched this album, I had not money for purchase, so I stole it from the store.
The Led, what?
The Led Zeppelin.
The old Led Zeppelin.
And Christopher McMeans 2 months ago, when I hear this, I'm reminded of sitting, drinking at the Euclid Tavern in Cleveland, Ohio, after work in the late 90s. The place was dead on non-music nights. It's like the artwork featured in the album jacket. By myself, by choice. I was in my late 20s trying to figure out my life's next move, and just being unable to figure it out. Depressing. This song playing, I can almost taste the Jameson. Neat. And Camels. So great to be sober now.
Oh, man.
I want to be your backdoor man.
Next song is called Southbound Sores.
Yeah.
Yeah, written by Jones and Plant. This is one of only 3 officially released Zeppelin songs where Jimmy Page is not credited as a writer.
Really?
This certainly isn't a traditional Zeppelin track.
Can tell Jimmy Page.
Most of the songs on this album aren't really, which would explain why there was some negative division at the time of its release. Retrospectively, critics are much kinder to the record. Anywho, I actually dug this. It was fun.
Did you really?
I loved what Bonham did with the groove. Greatest drummer there's ever been.
I didn't like this.
You didn't like it?
No.
I didn't care. When it started out with the piano,
Yeah.
I was like, no. And then Bonham comes in and kind of makes it work,
Yeah.
I think. But
But
weren't.
it's not one of those songs I go back and be like, oh, I got to hear this song by Zeppelin.
What? Why?
I just would not go back to this song at all.
No. Okay.
I've heard it about, 4 times now, and it's just not doing nothing for me.
All right, well, let's see what Edward Mahoney thinks.
Well, Mahoney, let's go.
1 year ago, he says, it makes me want to drink a 5th of whiskey.
Hey, fellas, have you heard the news? You know that Annie's back in town.
Laguna Fly Guy, 3 years ago, says, right on the knobs.
You need cool air.
And Johnny Appleseed, 3 years ago, says, this takes me back to being 13, smoking that harsh Mexican weed.
Yeah. I gotta find my baby.
Aw, dude. Fool in the Rain.
Ah.
Everybody knows this song.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Come on, Fool in the Rain.
I recognize it as soon as it
Yeah,
came out.
written by Page, Plant, and Jones. This was the last single released before they disbanded after the death of Bonzo. Such a famous Zeppelin track. If you grew up listening to rock radio...
Did they call him that?
Yeah, Bonzo.
They call him Bonzo?
Yeah, you couldn't escape this tune. It's still that way. It gets
Yeah.
played constantly. Zeppelin never played this live. However, in 2005, Plant joined Pearl Jam for the Hurricane Katrina benefit in a performance of this song.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
So for me, this song is all about Bonham. I don't even listen to anything else. I just listen to that shuffle. That beat he plays is like the Mount Everest for drummers. Nobody can swing like this guy. His groove is unmistakable. That's why he's so emulated. Great song. Another point for me. That's 3 for 3 for me, man.
Yeah.
How about you?
I give it a point. The only thing I didn't like about this song was the whole middle section there where,
it's
the
so
kind
fun.
of the salsa type thing.
Yeah, you didn't like that?
I didn't like that, but it still gets a point for me.
Yeah, it
just
does.
because Johnny can play the drums. So.
Heck yes, he can. I wonder what The Cure says on YouTube.
I'd like to know, too.
3 years
Like
ago, they
Relay.
said, Led Zepp better than the Rolling Stones.
Ooh. They are, by the way.
Yeah, most people do like Beatles and Stones. And maybe Zeppelin and Sabbath. But nobody really does Zeppelin and Stones. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Simpkins, 2 months ago, says, the love that he found was for himself after he pulled his head out of his ass. Shot of wolf jaw made him look cuckoo.
How dare you fail to recognize my greatest accomplishment to date?
What, you finally nailed YYZ?
It's Zed, and no, Neil Peart stands alone.
Derry Error, 1 year ago,
Derry
says, Bonham's drumming is like watching the best fireworks display ever with your ears.
Amen to that.
Every single noun and verb in that sentence totally arouses me.
Hot dog! Yeah, written by Page and Plant. Zeppelin doing like rockabilly.
Yeah.
This is not good. That's all I got. You say things now.
It reminded me of like a saloon style song type deal. And he's kind of singing like
Elvis.
Like Elvis.
Yeah.
Like, what is up with that?
Yeah.
But no point for me, my friend.
No.
Not the good.
No, this was the tiebreaker for me. Holy cats.
Oh, that's not right. No.
Mark C. 1 month ago says, personally, I like this track. Not sure how the line about I took her love at 17, a little late these days it seems, would sit in today's climate, however.
Hey, Chris. Whatever happened to Gina Davis? She used to be in movies, but she's not in movies anymore. She's attractive enough, but when she smiles, you see too much gum. Not a good tooth-to-gum ratio. Chris? I'll tell you tomorrow.
Surf's Up 1 year ago says, this song's got more twang than a bowl full of pickled pig's feet.
Here's a new idea for you. I'll get you a spoon so you can eat my ass.
Harrison Delamenchio 2 years ago says, John Bonham on drums in Fool in the Rain is absolutely amazing.
I got an idea about something new. How about you guys actually locate your dicks, remove the shrink wrap, and use them?
I just like how there's a comment about Fool in the Rain on hot dog. All right, Carousel Alhambra.
Oh, man.
I feel a powerful connection to the history of famous bass players. Like, what's his name from The Who? Or that guy from Led Zeppelin who wasn't Page, Plant, or Bonham?
Written by Page, Plant, and Jones, Homer. Its early working title was The Epic. At 10.5 minutes, this is the second longest song recorded in the studio by the group. In My Time of Dying from Physical Graffiti is the longest at 11 minutes and 8 seconds. So I wasn't into the repetitive synth lines.
No.
It's pretty cheesy. I still love the drumming. It's a great sounding track, like sonically. We haven't talked a lot about the overall sonic sound of the record. Like, it's a fantastic sounding album. It's aged really well. Anywho, this track is way too long, and Plant is buried in the mix here, maybe on purpose, considering the vocals sound kind of nonsensical anyway. I dug the halftime kind of middle section. It's okay. Bonzo still crushes, in my opinion, but
I thought the song was like all over the place.
Yeah, it was.
It was all over the place. The synthesizers are just wow.
Yeah.
It was
conquer.
everywhere. So no point for me, Michael.
How come?
No
I'm
point.
not looking for glory or wealth. I'm just buying that Stairway to Heaven Jesus sang of.
That was Led Zeppelin.
Get back to your bong, hippie.
End user 1 year ago says, I had an annoying ex-girlfriend who hated this song. Ex-girlfriend.
Jazz hands.
Jessica Corrales 2 years ago says, this song always reminds me of a Donkey Kong Country 2, riding around in roller coaster carts in World 3.
Oh, that's good.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
RH142 3 months ago says, it reminds me of the Final Countdown by Europe.
Oh.
I'll see you guys tonight. I'll look for you in the no section.
How about All My Love?
Yeah. Oh, I want to hear the synthesizer.
Another Plant and Jones collaboration. It was written in honor of Plant's son, Carrick, who died in 1977 while Zeppelin were on tour. He was just a little guy, man.
Yeah.
Heard this a lot growing up as well on radio, right? You always heard this song on the radio. I thought it was incredible. Sweet,
yeah, it's a great
sweet,
song.
sad. Love this song.
I actually got confused with the lyrics. It said, was his son, is his kid named Adrian?
No, Carrick.
Carrick, okay.
Yeah.
No,
maybe Adrian is the daughter then? Or?
It said Proud Adrian.
Right.
And I thought it said Proud Aryan. I had to go back and look at it. I'm like, whoa, hey.
Hey-o.
And it turned out to be Adrian. Okay. So we're good. We're good.
Oh, I never looked it up to see who Adrian was. I don't know.
I love the song. It's a great song. Classic.
Yeah. For sure.
So that gets a point for me, Michael.
Absolutely.
Baby, I'm not fooling.
Henrique Toledo 4 months ago says, who's listening to this in 2034 after the great Lobster Man collapse of 2029? Good times.
Just in the darkest depths of Mordor, I met a girl so fair.
Lori Patterson 3 months ago says, all of my love to you, Michael.
But Gollum, the evil one, crept up and slipped away with her, yeah.
I can't understand all comments.
Do you say Gollum?
Gollum, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. He's talking about the darkest depths of Mordor and Gollum.
Are you being serious?
Yeah. Yeah,
like, that's in Lord of the Rings?
Robert Plant was a Tolkien guy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Santoy2, 5 months ago, says, I can't understand all comments. I am Mexican. I do not speak English. Okay, honestly, the acapella stuff that I found with Plant, like, I could listen to it all day.
Yeah.
You know how, like, the Billy Corgan stuff, the Bono stuff, I'm good.
Yeah.
Plant, like, I could actually listen to him singing, like, Heartbreaker, acapella all day. I could listen to it. It's just so good. And you can hear him when you listen to it, especially with headphones, you can really hear him. He's, like, drumming out the patterns on his legs or on his lap or something before he starts singing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and he takes a breath or he swallows, so you can hear, like, the rattling of his jewelry just before he does a take. Like, dude, it's so good.
That's actually pretty cool.
It's so cool, man. I mean, you don't get more iconic than Plant's oohs, his yas. You know, anytime it's, ooh, yeah. Like, dude, they're so iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can have, like, those scats and those ad-libs that are as iconic as this guy. We flew through this. I forgot there was only 7 songs on this thing. Although that Candelabra or whatever is like 11 minutes long. I'm Gonna Crawl is our final track.
Yeah.
So good.
Stop. My penis can only get so erect.
You like the song?
Yeah, slow,
I like it.
Relaxed blues track. Plant wanted a mid-60s soul music tune in the style of Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding. It's a wonderful vocal performance by Plant. Amazing guitar solo from Page. It was to be their swan song, so to speak.
I didn't like it, man.
Rest in peace, Bonham. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Man.
They usually have, like, per album, like a slow, droning kind of thing, like Dazed and Confused on the first record and stuff. Just those. I remember Max, my oldest son, was just like, "Man, these songs like are so long." It's like, I think it was the time, right? It was like
keeping
that
my attention.
That self-indulgent
Yeah.
time where it was okay to have songs.
Well, when
that
musicians
long.
were actually good,
right,
and singers were actually good.
Oh, fair enough, Johnny. I'm Gonna Crawl. Yeah, so you weren't down.
No, I
that gets
didn't
another
like
point
it.
for me. Okay, let's go to YouTube for our final YouTube comments. A customer 1 day ago says, "When I heard this tune, I was done with boys and wanted a man."
Oh, yeah.
Oh, by the way, I want to thank you for having us over to dinner the other night. Cheryl and I thought the stroganoff was marvelous.
But, sir, we didn't have dinner the other night.
Really? Where the hell was I? And who's this Cheryl? Doesn't matter.
Lyndon Gear 9 months ago says, "Melissa, friend, you didn't know it, but this was our song."
Sabotage. My God, man, what does it mean?
We have to tighten security, sir. Find out who's behind it.
No. The word sabotage. What does it mean?
Lloyd Bridges. And finally, our final YouTube comment of this episode is from Andrew Corbett, who 1 year ago says, "Jimmy could still outplay everybody. Fucked up."
Nice.
Yeah. And that concludes our track-by-track review of 1979's In Through the Outdoor from the mighty Led Zeppelin. Point system. So out of 7 songs, this gets a high, a 5 for me, which is high.
Really?
Yeah, this gets a high.
I gave it a 3.
A high 5. You gave it a 3. I didn't care for Hot Dog or The Epic, but I love the rest. The highest rating I've ever given on CTC. It was honestly just an excuse to talk about Zeppelin, but...
You son of a bitch.
No, you know what? It is considered to be their weakest album. And it's not. I mean, like, it would probably get, if we were just doing like to 10, what's the point system out of 10 for every single Zeppelin record? This would probably get the lowest,
right?
Other than Coda.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, dude, to put out 7, 8 flawless records, like they're just, dude, 1, 2, 3, 4, Houses of the Holy, Physical Graffiti, Presence. Oh my gosh, so good. So you're giving it a 3? I'm giving it a 5, man. I think that's the highest Check the Credits album has ever gotten.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But so talk to me about Zeppelin, like recommendations. Can you start Zeppelin fans, like if you're talking to your boy and you're like, you should check out this band, where are you sending them first? It's probably not this album.
No.
I'm thinking. So where are you sending?
I would probably have them start where I did, because I mean, there's a lot of great songs on it.
Zeppelin 4
on number 4.
Okay,
like Stairway to Heaven,
right?
And, Black Dog.
Yeah.
Is Battle of Evermore on there too?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah, great song. But I would direct them to that album.
Okay,
I loved it, and yeah.
I would probably direct them towards any of those first like 6 records.
Yeah. But they all have great songs.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't start them with Presence or In Through the Outdoor or Coda. I would probably start them with 1, 2, 3, or 4. But Houses of the Holy is mega. Over the Hills and Far Away is one of the very first songs I ever learned how to play on acoustic guitar. It made me want a 12-string, which I still don't have, by the way.
Help me.
But yeah, I mean, if you're a guitar player, you're supposed to know certain songs from Led Zeppelin. Like, you just have to have them in your repertoire. Like, I learned Stairway just because you were supposed to. But I know everybody says that's like the distinctive Zeppelin track. Robert Plant actually said in an interview that he doesn't agree with that. He thinks Kashmir is the distinctive Zeppelin track.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he thinks. Now, I think they have a lot of choices.
Yeah.
They've got so many iconic songs, iconic riffs. They're one of the top of all time.
Didn't P. Diddy do a version of Kashmir?
Yeah, it was like for the Godzilla soundtrack or something. But that wasn't like Zeppelin. I think it was just Jimmy Page that had nothing to do with.
Absolutely horrible.
Yeah, it was not cool. I'm thinking The Dollar Amount was something Page didn't want to turn down or something.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, did you hear the Black Crowes and Jimmy Page?
No.
Oh, dude. They put out a live record where it's the Black Crowes, the whole band, and then Jimmy Page joins them, and they do a bunch of Zeppelin tunes. Dude, it's incredible. And Chris Robinson's voice is just dumb. He sings that stuff so good.
So are Jimmy and Robert okay now?
I don't know. I know that back in 2007, they did a reunion show, one-off show, at the London O2 Arena
for money
in England for Armet Ergeland or whatever. It was somebody in the record company at Atlantic, I think.
Right.
And so they did this big reunion thing with John's son Jason playing drums.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Just fantastic. And there was all of this big excitement of like, okay, tour, maybe a new album, and everybody was into it except for Plant.
Really?
Yeah. And he actually, I remember him getting kind of a little bit tired of hearing about and being bugged about it, and he got a little bit pissy at times in interviews about like, no, I'm not doing it. I think he was really into what he was doing at the time, like kind of bluegrass stuff with Alison Krauss and his Band of Joy and all that kind of stuff. So he just wasn't into doing a Zeppelin reunion. And I mean, since that day, Jimmy Page, other than like reissues, remasters, constantly regurgitating Zeppelin stuff, hasn't really done much. Doesn't seem like he writes. Oh, but we did mention in the U2 episode that he was in the It Might Get Loud documentary with The Edge and Jack White, which is very cool. Like that moment where he stands up in that kind of interview room there and he starts playing the intro to Whole Lotta Love.
Right.
And Edge and Jack White are just leaning on the edge of their seats like, oh my God, it's the man playing this iconic lick. It was just so amazing to watch the man himself playing that lick. But Yeah, how do we get on that? See, you got to reel me in, dude. I'll go off on Zeppelin. I will do. Yeah, I've got books and documentaries and CDs and vinyl and cassettes, and I got it all. I love Zeppelin so much. Except for that middle section of Whole Lotta Love. Still gives me the creeps, dude. I listened to it on the way here, and it was like, and I could picture that freaking commercial. Yeah, Saturday afternoon, not cartoons.
Thriller
it was like Thriller Chiller. Yeah,
called.
horror movies, and it was werewolves with blood.
Friday the 13th.
Not cool. So tell me, talk to me about what you're listening to.
Actually, in light of listening to Zeppelin, I went back to a band that we were quite familiar with. Us Canadians, anyway. I don't know about Americans. The Tea Party.
Oh yeah.
I went back to their first album, Splendor Solace, which is like heavily influenced by Zeppelin and the Doors. And,
man.
Yeah, man. That album brings back a lot of memories. Great record. If you ever get a chance to pick it up, please do. It's great. And it's funny. I actually had the demo record of that album. Oh. I actually bought it at Dr. Disc in London.
Oh yeah, I used to live there.
And I got it from there, and I've since lost it. A lot of great tracks on there, man. But anyway, Splendor Solace for me, Tea Party.
Yeah,
so great.
You hear a lot of Zeppelin influence there. That Eastern
and
Jeff
kind of Burrows.
mysticism and Jeff Burrows on drums. Yeah, and Chris. You can also hear a lot of Zeppelin in Big Wreck Records. You can
You're right, yeah.
You can tell that Ian Thornley is really influenced by Jimmy Page.
Well, funny story about Jeff.
Okay.
When you guys were doing some benefit for Mark, or Jeff, sorry.
Was that the 24-hour drum?
Yeah. And I remember I was standing so close to him, he was right there, Jeff Burrows, and he's one of my icons from my childhood. Had the same cool hair and everything, man. And he what is he in his 50s now? And the guy's an awesome drummer.
Yeah,
so great.
Yeah, and Bonham's obviously a big hero of his.
Yes.
So, for me, my recommendation, dude, what I've been listening to is Zeppelin. It's just been...
Zeppelin all day, every day.
I listen to Zeppelin a lot kind of anyway. Like we had mentioned, they've got iconic songs, iconic records, and you'd think that you wouldn't need to hear them anymore or ever again. But, man, when you put them on, you put on Physical Graffiti, and you're just there's just so much to take in.
Yeah.
There's so many new things to hear. Oh, I never realized what Bonham did with his kick drum there before, that pattern that he did, or the bass thing that John...
It's just that sound, man.
Yeah,
and that sound of the guitar, you just know it's Zeppelin as soon as they come on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
It's funny that Rolling Stone, trashed every record they ever did, but now retrospectively, they're trying to say, the greatest band ever. It's no, dude, you guys did not help.
No.
And I mean, with basically zero airplay or music videos or anything like that, they were the biggest band on the planet. So one thing that was interesting when I was doing my research, we might edit this out if this gets boring, was the band really started to gain a lot of momentum around 1970. Now that's the same year that the Beatles disbanded. So there was a lot of journalism and things that said they are the rightful next guys that are going to take on the torch to be the biggest
it's our turn
band in the world. So I guess what I was wondering was, would Zeppelin have hit the way that they hit and achieved what they had achieved had the Beatles not broken up and the Beatles kept going and being the band to watch? Maybe Zeppelin would have been successful, but maybe not as big.
Not as, yeah.
I'm just wondering.
I mean, the Beatles had the spotlight for so long.
Sure.
I mean, a new Beatles record
and
came
there was
out.
No lulls for them either.
No.
They have never put out a turd.
No.
Let It Be and Abbey Road are masterpieces. But I always think about stuff like that, I think about I always have these what if fantasies about being able to go back in time on whichever tour and tell John Bonham hey man, I don't want you don't die. You're drinking too much or you're whatever. And then what would have happened if Zeppelin hadn't broken up? If Bonham hadn't have died? With the stories that you hear surrounding the band, the way this album is a little bit phoned in, maybe they were on the road to breaking up anyway.
Perhaps, yeah.
And then when Bonham was gone, it's right, that's the final push. Yeah. We're gonna pack it all in. I know Page and Plant have obviously gotten together. In the 90s, they put out the No Quarter, Page and Plant stuff. Everybody remembers their disastrous performance at Live Aid in 85. Page just looked so strung out on drugs, and Plant just didn't have the voice anymore.
No.
But back since 2007, we've all just been waiting for something. But I don't know if
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to happen, man. I think that was our little taste of it, and it's never going to happen. But anyway, we have been
we have been
and we just reviewed Led Zeppelin, dude.
I am pretty proud of that.
I'm pretty proud of that.
I mean, Led Zeppelin is awesome, and
so good. But this album wasn't.
No,
this album wasn't. There were some like really bad songs on this.
But like you said, I mean, it gave us a chance to actually gave us an excuse to actually talk about them.
Yeah.
In a very good light.
I know we've flirted with the idea of actually doing an entire season of just great records or lost gems from great bands or something, and I think eventually that will happen. But you wouldn't think Led Zeppelin would come up on our radar, but a lot of people really trashed this record, and it's not very guitar heavy, very synth and piano heavy.
I honestly think that was my problem with the record. There just wasn't enough of that
guitar riffs.
That guitar.
Yeah. In the Evening is the best song on the record. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Anywho, check the credits. You can check us out on the Instagram, and we're also on Twitter. Also, there's this new platform called Facebook on social media, and you can check us out there. We have a .com, and you can listen to us on Apple, or oranges, or bananas. And anyway... We love you so much. Enjoy season 4. We'll be back in a little while with season 5. We've already got plans for it. We've already picked the artists. It's going to be so exciting. Thanks for sticking with us. We're having a great time. We hope you are too.
Bye.
Until the next time.
Get out of here, Dewey.
What are y'all doing in here?
We're smoking reefer, and you don't want no part of this shit.
You're smoking reefers?
Come on, Dewey. Join the party.
No, Dewey. You don't want this. Get out of here.
You know what? I don't want no hangover. I can't get no hangover.
It doesn't give you a hangover.
Well, I'll get addicted to it or something?
It's not habit forming.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I don't want to overdose on it.
You can't OD on it.
It's not going to make me want to have sex, is it?
It makes sex even better.
It sounds kind of expensive.
It's the cheapest drug there is. You don't want it.
I think I kind of want it.
Okay, but just this once. Come on in.
You have recently enjoyed a Check the Credits podcast, a program I can only assume you've enjoyed on a radio receiver that would have been at your disposal. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. And I have no idea what any of that means because I'm a broadcaster guy from the 1920s. Thank you, and good night.